Hello, and welcome again to Method of the Meadness. I'm Burley Mullins, and we're doing things a little bit backwards today. So, as we talked about on my last video, about going through my process, this is the mead that I'm going to be making for today. And it is Cestus Spore Mead from the Star Wars Legends. It's mentioned in the Cestus Deception and in Fallen Order. That's right. Not much is known about this mead, other than it is probably made from the spores of mushrooms on this planet, which are apparently fermentable. They're not really fermentable in terms of alcohol here on Earth, so I've decided to run with the inspiration and make a mead out of it. Now, as I'll show in a second, I've already measured out the honey and lightly scorched it, and that should play now. I've gone ahead and sped this clip up. You can see me tearing the weight of the pot out of the way so I can get an accurate measurement of the honey. I've got three one pound little bottles of honey that I'm painstakingly emptying into this pot. I don't expect to get the full 3 pounds out of it, but I'm trying my darndest to get, between 2.8 and 2.9 pounds of honey. You can heat the honey up, especially with the process that I'm going through to make this into a Bochet. But you can't use the water trick, as you'll see a little bit later why. The squeezing motion is mostly psychological. Speaking of having had to speed up clips for expediency's sake in this video, this is the process that I'm using to caramelize and lightly scorch. I just get, barely into the scorched territory with this honey. I'm doing it outside on the grill because I am not allowed to do it indoors anymore. My wife forbade me. You actually won't get to see why in this video, but if you are not very careful in, cooling down the honey to below a certain temperature, it can kind of explode. You'll see why. I'll talk about that in a bit when I add the water, and that is the point at which, you can cause a minor steam explosion with the honey. Anyways, this is a laborious and painstaking process, and even sped up, it's a bit of a slog to go through. So if you want to skip past this, I won't hold it against you. Maybe the algorithm won't like it if you do, but, sometimes you have to stand up for what's right, and that's, your own patience. You'll see me adjusting the temperature fairly regularly and sticking my head in. Once it starts to foam up, you can't really see the color of the honey anymore, so you have to go by the puffs of smoke that come out and by the smell, hence my head popping in and wafting towards me. If you don't stir pretty vigorously, it can boil over the pot, hence why that spoon looks like a bat out of heck. Anyways, it should be winding down pretty soon. I'm getting close to the smell and color that I'm looking for. Again, hard to tell through the foam. But what I'm looking for is a toffee-like, maybe just this side of smoky. I could have let it gone a little bit longer for this particular mead to get a sort of smoky flavor to go with the ingredients you'll see in a minute, or you'll know if you've watched my previous video. Alright. This part right here could be dangerous or could be fine, depending on if I've let the mead cool down, the honey cool down enough. And this is also why I'm not allowed to do this in the house anymore, and why I need to invest in a candy thermometer. We'll see in a second if the honey spits and explodes. The only problem is you have to keep stirring it, otherwise it'll seize up. Hence the hits. Aha! It didn't explode this time. I want to do this nice and slow. Now, we want to give the fermentation vessel and the mead the best chance it can to come to temperature equilibrium. So I'm going to prime the fermenter with a bit of water just to act as sort of a cushion. It shouldn't be that hot anymore, but you do want to be careful. I'm going to go ahead and add a half teaspoon of yeast nutrient. I'm using Fermentation. And that's just because I am not sure how much nutrients the yeast is going to be able to pull from the mushrooms and the rosemary and the bay leaves. It could be that this wasn't necessary, but better to be safe than sorry. And I'd rather have a good fermentation rather than a sluggish fermentation. I'm going to go ahead and add the yeast at this stage. Due to the way the honey was scorched and then cooled, it's already dissolved into the water. So you may be tempted to think that you do not need to work it into the mixture. Now, you would be wrong. And the reason for this is you actually want to get, at this stage, you want to get oxygen into the mix. The yeast really likes it at this point in time. And so you do want to shake it pretty vigorously. You want to dissolve as much air as you can into this mix. I hope it wasn't too hot when I added the yeast. We'll find out. I'll update you if that's the case. You know what, I'm gonna find out now. Good news, it wasn't too hot for the yeast. Boy, would that have been a rookie error. Okay, I'm gonna top it up with water and then give it another swirl. After Thor does his thing. Yeah, that was about the 1 gallon mark. You know, one of these days I'll go through and mark it. Alright, I'm showing an initial gravity reading of 1.101, just a little shy of where we were with the cup of cheer. And we'll see how this goes. Now that should put this right where I want it taste-wise in terms of sweetness. But we shall see what happens as it ferments. I'm Burley Mullins, and this has been Method to the Meadness. Oh yeah, somebody had asked if this was just a really short fridge. No, it's the camera angle and the distance. It's a normal sized fridge. I'm a little over 6 foot. not... Sir. What you barking at? Sir. He's already... What? What? Homeboy? What? Oh. Who's my boy? Oh, is it your? Yes, my darling boy. Well, settle down. Oh, he's such a sweet baby boy. Okay, now,